Have you ever felt like something inside you is broken, but you can't quite explain what it is? It's not physical pain. It's not something you can point your finger at. It's there, an invisible wound that weighs on you, that steals your peace, that makes you doubt who you are. Carl Jung, the man who explored the darkest corners of the human soul, discovered something that could change everything. When you become your own priority, those wounds you didn't even know you had start to heal on their own. You don't need someone to save you. You don't need a magic formula or an external miracle. The power is within you, waiting for you to reclaim it. Today, you're going to discover how through Jung's ideas, you can transform your life, heal your relationships, and above all, love yourself like never before. This isn't just theory. It's an invitation to look within yourself, to face what you've been avoiding, and to realize that every step you take toward your authenticity closes a crack in your soul. Jung believed that we all carry an entire universe inside us, a world full of secrets that, once uncovered, set us free. But here's the catch. To find them, you have to stop looking outside and start listening to what your unconscious has been trying to tell you for years. So stay with me, because this journey will not only inspire you, it will also give you practical tools so that, starting today, you begin to make yourself your priority and watch how everything changes. Imagine this, you're in a relationship that seems perfect on Instagram. The photos are flawless, the smiles are rehearsed, but the moment you turn off your phone, you feel a void you can't explain. Or maybe you're in a job that everyone praises, but every morning you wake up with a knot in your stomach. Sound familiar? Jung would say that's no coincidence. That's your unconscious speaking. That part of you that doesn't use words, but symbols, emotions, and that intuition you often ignore because it seems irrational. The unconscious, according to Jung, is like a deep ocean within us. It stores everything we've lived, felt, and haven't dared to face. And when you ignore it, those invisible wounds grow. Think about it for a second. How many times have you felt something wasn't right, but you let it slide? Maybe it was that friend who always criticizes you under the guise of giving advice. Or that partner who makes you feel like you're never enough. Jung teaches us that these signs aren't just annoying little things. They're urgent messages from your soul, asking you to put yourself first. Because when you don't, when you let others drain your energy or pull you away from who you are, you're betraying your essence. And that betrayal, my friend, is the root of many of the wounds we carry. Let's pause here. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what am I allowing into my life that makes me feel less than I am? You don't have to answer right now, but keep that question close to your heart. We'll come back to it. Jung spoke of something called the shadow, a key concept in his psychology. The shadow is everything you hide from yourself. Your fears, your insecurities, those parts you don't want the world to see because they don't fit with the strong, kind, successful woman you think you should be. But here's the secret, that shadow isn't your enemy. It's a part of you that needs love, attention, and above all, integration. Think of Maria, a woman like you, like me. Maria was 35 years old, had a stable job at an office in Bogota, a 5-year relationship, and a life that, from the outside, looked perfect. But on the inside, Maria felt trapped. Every time her partner said, "You can't do it on your own," or "You're better this way," something inside her dimmed. She smiled. She agreed, but her energy faded. Until one day, reading about Jung, she realized that feeling wasn't normal. It was her shadow, screaming, "You're denying who you are to fit into what he wants." Maria decided to do something radical. She began to listen to herself, and that changed everything. So, what does it mean to make yourself your priority? It's not selfishness. It's not abandoning everyone or becoming a hermit on a mountain. It's recognizing that your energy, your peace, and your authenticity are sacred. Jung said that when you repress your shadow, it shows up in your relationships, in your decisions, and even in those silly arguments that hurt more than they should. Have you ever met someone who gets under your skin for no apparent reason? A co-worker who irritates you with everything she says? or a mother-in-law who seems to know exactly how to push your buttons. Jung would say that's no coincidence. That person is reflecting something from your shadow that you haven't faced yet. Let's go with a practical example. Imagine you have a friend, let's call her Laura, who's always late to everything. You get frustrated, you get angry, but you never say anything because you don't want to seem rude. Months go by, the frustration grows, and one day you explode over something small, like her forgetting to return your book. What happened there? Jung would explain it like this. Your shadow, the part of you that wants to set boundaries and say no, was ignored for so long that it burst out. If you had made yourself a priority from the beginning, you would have spoken to Laura months ago, calmly, and saved yourself from that chaos. So here's a concrete action you can take today. Identify a person in your life who drains you. It doesn't have to be someone evil, just someone whose presence leaves you exhausted. Write a note on your phone about how you feel after being with them. Empty, irritated, small. That is a sign from your unconscious. Then decide on a small boundary. Maybe don't reply to their messages right away, or reduce the time you spend with them. It's a small step, but a powerful one. Because when you start protecting your energy, you're telling your unconscious, I matter. My peace matters. Let's pause again. If this is resonating with you, I invite you to leave a comment below and tell me who or what is draining you today. Not only will you help me get to know you better, but you'll also inspire other women who are reading and feeling the same. And if you want this message to reach more people, share this video with a friend who needs to hear it. Together, we can build a community where we all put ourselves first. Back to Jung, he believed our relationships are mirrors of our inner world. If you're surrounded by people who criticize you, minimize you, or make you doubt your worth, it's not just bad luck. It's a projection, another Jungian term. Projection is when we see in others what we don't want to see in ourselves. For example, if it bothers you that your partner is controlling, ask yourself, is there a part of me that also wants to control everything? But I don't admit it. It's hard to look at, but liberating. Because when you face it, you stop blaming the world and start healing yourself. Healing isn't instant magic. It's a process, like taking care of a plant. You need to water it, give it light, remove the dead leaves. And sometimes those dead leaves are relationships that no longer nourish you. Think about Daniela, a 42-year-old mother in Guadalajara. Daniela spent years in a friendship that drained her. Her friend always showed up with complaints and drama, but never asked how Daniela was doing. Daniela felt guilty for wanting distance, until she realized something Jung taught. Letting go is not giving up, it's aligning with your truth. When Daniela set a boundary, she not only recovered her peace, but began attracting friends who truly valued her. That's what happens when you prioritize yourself. The universe responds. So what wounds are you carrying today? Maybe it's that little voice that's been telling you you're not enough since you were a child, or that love that left you feeling broken. Jung would say, those wounds are not your destiny. They are doors to your transformation. But to walk through them, you must stop running and start listening. Listen to your intuition, that inner guide who always knows what you need. Even when your logical mind says, don't you dare. Because when you dare, when you choose to make yourself a priority, something magical starts to happen. Your wounds begin to heal on their own. And this is where it all connects. When you start listening to your intuition and put yourself first, not only do you close the wounds, but you also create space for a life that truly belongs to you. Jung knew this. The unconscious is not an enemy, trying to sabotage you. It's an ally, pushing you toward your authenticity. But to get there, you have to let go of what weighs you down, what doesn't resonate with you, even if it hurts, even if it scares you. Because every time you cling to something that isn't meant for you, a toxic relationship, a job that dims your light, a belief that limits you, you are saying no to the woman you are meant to become. Imagine you're standing in front of two paths, like in the stories we were told as children. One is filled with lights, noise, people telling you, this is the safe way, don't question it. The other is darker, quieter, the one where you face your shadow, where you discover who you are beyond what others expect from you. And yes, it's scary, but it's also where you find your power. Let's go to an example that might sound familiar. I know Sophia, a 29-year-old woman in Los Angeles. Sophia was in a relationship everyone envied. Her boyfriend was handsome, successful, showered her with gifts. But every time she was with him, she felt like she had to hide parts of herself. When she spoke of her dreams to travel or start her own business, he would change the subject or say, "That's not realistic." Sophia started doubting herself, feeling small, until one day something inside her said, "Enough." There was no dramatic fight, no yelling. She just listened to that quiet voice, her intuition, and decided to leave. In the beginning it was hard, but then something amazing happened. She began to regain her energy. Her dreams reignited, and little by little, she attracted people who truly supported her. That's no coincidence. Jung spoke of synchronicity. Those magical coincidences that happen when you're aligned with your truth. Synchronicity is like a wink from the universe that says you're on the right path. Keep going. But to experience it, you have to let go of what's holding you back. And letting go isn't easy, I know. Maybe you're thinking about that relationship that isn't that bad, or that job that at least gives you stability. But ask yourself, what is the price I'm paying to stay here? Your peace? Your joy? Your soul? Let's pause. Breathe again. Think of something or someone you're holding on to out of fear of what comes next. You don't have to decide now, but imagine what your life would be like without that weight. Lighter, right? That lightness is what Jung wanted you to find. He said the unconscious is always sending you signs, a strange dream you can't forget, a song that makes you cry for no reason, that feeling something is off when you're around a certain person. These are clues to align with your essence. Now let's talk about relationships, because I know it's a topic close to your heart. En tant que femme, on nous a parfois appris à tout donner, notre temps, notre énergie, notre amour, même quand cela ne nous est pas rendu. Mais Jung nous invite à voir cela autrement. Si tu es dans une relation de couple, d'amitié ou familiale, où tu sens que tu dois changer qui tu es pour être accepté, ce n'est pas une relation, c'est une cage. Et les cages ne guérissent pas les blessures, elles les aggravent. Pense à Carla, une professeure de 38 ans à Mexico. Carla était mariée depuis 10 ans, mais son mariage était une lutte constante. Son mari n'était pas méchant, il ne criait pas, mais trouvait toujours des façons de la faire se sentir inférieure. « Tu ne cuisines pas comme ma mère » ou « Pourquoi veux-tu étudier si tu as déjà un travail ?» Carla faisait des efforts, cherchait à lui plaire, mais se sentait chaque jour plus vide. Jusqu'au jour où elle a compris quelque chose que Jung enseignait: quand tu forces une connexion qui ne t'élève pas, ton inconscient te le fait savoir, par la fatigue, la tristesse, cette sensation de « ce n'est pas moi ». Carla a pris une décision courageuse, se prioriser. Elle a commencé une thérapie, repris ses études. Et même si elle n'a pas quitté son mari immédiatement, elle a changé la dynamique. Il a dû s'adapter, ou la perdre. Et devine quoi? Leur relation s'est améliorée quand elle a cessé de se sacrifier. Voici un outil simple. Prends une feuille et trace 2 colonnes. Dans la première, écris les noms des personnes qui te remplissent d'énergie, qui t'inspirent à être plus toi-même. Dans la seconde, celles qui te vident, te critiquent ou te font douter. Ne juge pas, observe simplement. Ensuite, décide comment tu vas protéger ton énergie, avec les personnes de la deuxième colonne. Peut-être que cela veut dire non plus souvent ou passer moins de temps avec elles. Ce n'est pas être cruel, c'est de l'amour-propre. Et selon Jung, l'amour-propre est la première étape pour intégrer ton ombre et guérir. Car guérir, ce n'est pas effacer la douleur, c'est la transformer. Jung croyait que chaque blessure contient une leçon. Et cette leçon se manifeste dans les personnes que nous choisissons d'avoir autour de nous. Si tu es entouré de chaos, de drames, de gens qui te vident, c'est le reflet de quelque chose en toi qui demande de l'attention. Mais quand tu commences à choisir autrement, quand tu te mets en premier, le monde extérieur change. C'est comme si l'univers disait « Enfin, tu as compris ». Parlons un instant de rêve. Car je sais que beaucoup d'entre vous ont des objectifs qu'elles ont mis en pause. Peut-être que tu voulais ouvrir un commerce, voyager seul pour la première fois, ou simplement avoir du temps pour peindre, écrire ou faire quelque chose qui nourrit ton âme. Mais la vie passe, les responsabilités s'accumulent et soudain, ces passions semblent être un luxe que tu ne peux pas te permettre. Jung dirait que ces rêves ne sont pas des caprices. Ce sont des messages de ton inconscient, des morceaux de ton authenticité qui veulent voir la lumière. Et quand tu les ignores pour plaire aux autres, tes blessures restent ouvertes. Pense à Anna, une comptable de 45 ans à Medellín. Anna rêvait depuis toujours d'ouvrir une pâtisserie. Depuis l'enfance, cuisiner la rendait heureuse. Mais sa famille lui disait « ça ne rapporte pas d'argent. Étudie quelque chose de sérieux ». Anna a obéi, a obtenu un bon poste. Mais chaque jour au bureau, elle sentait qu'il lui manquait quelque chose. Jusqu'à ce qu'une rupture amoureuse la pousse à s'arrêter. En lisant Jung, elle a compris que sa tristesse ne venait pas seulement de son ex, mais de toutes ces années où elle s'était niée. Anna a commencé petit. Elle cuisinait le week-end, vendait à ses amis, et peu à peu, son entreprise a grandi. Aujourd'hui, elle a sa propre pâtisserie et dit ne s'être jamais sentie aussi vivante. Elle s'est mise en priorité. Si cela te touche, je t'invite à laisser un commentaire ci-dessous. Dis-moi, quel rêve as-tu mis en pause et pourquoi? Non seulement j'adorerais te lire, mais tes mots pourraient motiver une autre femme qui vit la même chose. Et si tu veux, partage cette vidéo avec quelqu'un qui a besoin de ce coup de pouce. Ensemble, rappelons-nous que nos rêves comptent. Pour Jung, le chaos émotionnel, ces montagnes russes que nous connaissons toutes, est un signe que quelque chose est mal aligné. Peut-être une relation confuse, une décision que tu n'oses pas prendre. Mais au lieu de fuir le chaos, Jung t'invite à l'embrasser. Car dans ce désordre se trouve la clé de ta renaissance. Demande-toi, que vient me montrer ce chaos? Quelle partie de moi veut émerger? Ces questions ne sont pas simples, mais elles sont le pont vers une vie plus pleine. Et voici le point clé. Quand tu te priorises, quand tu guéris tes blessures, tu commences à vivre depuis ton authenticité. Jung appelait cela l'individuation, le processus de devenir qui tu es réellement. Sans masque, sans prétention. Ce n'est pas être parfaite, ce n'est pas plaire à tout le monde. C'est être toi, avec ta lumière et tes ombres. Et laisser cela guider tes relations, tes choix, ta vie entière. Parce que quand tu vis depuis cet endroit, l'univers n'a pas d'autre choix que de s'aligner avec toi. Et justement, quand tu vis dans cette authenticité, quelque chose de magique se produit. Le monde commence à refléter ce que tu as construit en toi. Carl Jung appelait cela « ce que tu vois dehors, dans tes relations, tes bons jours comme tes mauvais, est un miroir de ton monde intérieur. » Si tu es entouré d'amour, de soutien, d'opportunités, c'est que tu as osé te prioriser. Mais s'il y a du chaos, des conflits, du vide, c'est un signe qu'il reste des blessures à écouter. La bonne nouvelle, tu as le pouvoir de changer cela. Et tout commence par une décision, faire de toi la protagoniste de ta propre histoire. Pense à ta vie comme une toile. Chaque relation, chaque choix est un coup de pinceau. Qu'es-tu en train de peindre aujourd'hui? Un tableau plein de couleurs vibrantes qui reflètent qui tu es. Ou un gris effacé parce que les autres attendent de toi. Jung believed that we can all start over, no matter how many years we've carried wounds. And for the women listening to me now, mothers, wives, workers, this is especially powerful. We were taught to put ourselves at the end of the line, to take care of everyone else before ourselves. But Jung tells us, in order to heal, to shine, you must come first. Let's do an exercise together. Close your eyes for a moment. If you're driving, please do this later, and think about a relationship that weighs you down. It could be your partner, your boss, a friend. Now imagine saying to them, I choose my peace. I choose my energy. I choose to be myself. How does that feel? Maybe a little freeing, maybe a little scary, but that feeling is the beginning of what Jung called individuation, the journey toward your authentic self. And that journey is not lonely, and on the contrary, it connects you with the right people, the ones who see you, who love you for who you are, not who they expect you to be. Think of Lorena, a 50-year-old nurse in Miami. Lorena spent decades in a marriage where her voice didn't matter. Her husband made all the decisions, from what they ate for dinner to how they spent their money. She kept quiet because that's just how marriage is. You endure it. But one day, after a heated argument, something shifted. She read about Jung's concept of the shadow and realized she had been repressing her strength, her opinions, her value, out of fear of losing everything. Lorena started to speak up, to set boundaries. It wasn't easy. There were tears, doubts, sleepless nights. But little by little, her husband began to respect her more. And she respected herself like never before. Her wounds, that feeling of "I don't exist," began to heal. Because she finally put herself first. Here's a practical action for you today. Say no to something small you don't want to do. Maybe it's not replying to a message that stresses you out. Maybe it's skipping a plan that doesn't excite you. Maybe it's not carrying someone else's burden. That no is a gift you give yourself, a way of telling your unconscious, "I see myself, I hear myself." And when you do, notice how you feel, stronger, lighter. That's your authenticity waking up. Let's talk about self-love, because I know it's something we're all searching for. Jung didn't call it that exactly, but all of his work points toward it. A loving relationship with yourself. What does that look like in practice? It's waking up and saying, "Today I choose what nourishes me." It's looking at that friend who drains you and calmly deciding, "This is where I stop." It's opening up that old dream you left in a dusty box and saying, "I still can." Because when you love yourself, you don't just close wounds, you open doors to a life that excites you. Pause for a moment. If this is speaking to your heart, I invite you to leave a comment below. Tell me, what do you need to say no to today to put yourself first? Your words won't just make my day. They might inspire another woman who's also searching for her strength. And if this message touched you, share it with a friend, a sister, a cousin who needs to hear it too. Together we can heal. Together we can shine. Going back to Jung, he said that crises, those dark moments where everything shakes, are disguised opportunities. Maybe you're going through a breakup, a job that suffocates you, or that feeling of "I don't know who I am." Jung would say, don't run from the chaos, look at it. Because within that chaos lies your power. Ask yourself, what is this crisis teaching me? What part of me needs to come to light? Those answers don't come all at once, but every time you seek them, you get closer to yourself. And here comes the best part. When you align with your truth, synchronicities start to appear. I know Julia, a 32-year-old designer in Cali. Julia left a toxic relationship where she felt invisible in the beginning. She was lost, but she decided to focus on herself. She took art classes, went out with friends who lifted her up, and started listening to her intuition. One day, by chance, she met someone at a workshop who not only inspired her but helped her launch her own business. That's synchronicity, the universe aligning with you when you align with yourself. So what do you need to let go of today? Maybe it's the fear of being alone, the guilt of not being able to endure anymore, or that idea that without him I am nothing. Jung would tell you that the emptiness you fear isn't real. It's a sacred space where the new begins to grow. Every time you let go, you're telling the universe, I'm ready for something better. And the better comes relationships that uplift you, opportunities that excite you, a peace you didn't know you could have. Let's do a quick recap before we close. Everything we talked about, the shadow, intuition, individuation, synchronicity, it all comes down to this. When you make yourself a priority, your wounds begin to heal, not because they magically disappear, but because you stop feeding them with sacrifice, with denial, with relationships that drain you. Jung taught us that true fulfillment doesn't come from searching outside, but from exploring the universe you carry within. And that universe, my friend, is more powerful than you can imagine. One last pause. Reflect on what are you ready to let go of today? What wound do you want to begin healing? Imagine what your life would look like if you gave yourself permission to be you, no excuses, no fear. That is the gift Jung left us, the courage to be authentic. So do it. Choose your peace, your light, your truth. Because when you do, you don't just change your life, you inspire everyone around you. If this video touched you, I invite you to be part of this. Leave a comment with what you're taking away today. Share this message with someone who needs it. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next, because each video is another step toward your transformation. Together, we can make this message reach thousands, even millions, and remind every woman that her power lies within. Thank you for being here, for listening, for being part of this community. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, change begins with you. And when you prioritize yourself, the world has no choice but to follow you. I'll be waiting for you.